It's the Infinite Podcast. Go tell your friends. It's the Infinite Podcast. My God, it never ends. It's the Infinite Podcast with Rob and Cork the Kid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite Podcast, the podcast covering the infinite and ever-expanding multiverse of fandom. From movies, comics, TV shows, video games, we got you covered. I'm Rob. I'm here, as always, with Court. Court, it's another Deadpool week.
This is another Deadpool. I can't wait.
I know, me either. It's going to be a great time. So last week we talked about Deadpool 1, and this week we are going to follow that up and talk about Deadpool 2 a little bit.
Directed by channel favorite David Leitch.
Yes. This is his second movie, right?
Yeah, because at this point it's 2018, right? This movie comes out in, so he has like Atomic Blonde. So he did Atomic Blonde and then this.
Yeah, so pretty dang good for a second outing, I would say.
So. And it's a pretty big responsibility on top of that as well, too.
Yeah, 100%. He's Deadpool. It's interesting that Deadpool appears to be, obviously the third one's not out yet, but appears to be, on the precipice of being a really successful trilogy.
Right.
But we talk about all the time how, we appreciate consistency in, sequels, trilogies, and with this Deadpool thing, you're not getting any consistency director-wise.
Right.
Because you have Tim Miller directed the first one, you have David Leitch directing the second one, and then Sean Levy's directing the third one. But the constant is Ryan Reynolds, of course. And I think that's why it's been able to get away with that. The fact that there's been 3 different directors on these Deadpool projects. But yeah, man, we're going to talk about Deadpool 2 in a little bit because we don't have a ton of news this week.
We don't.
We have one news this week, and it's the trailer that we talked about last week that we knew was coming, but we recorded our episode before the trailer came out. We got a trailer for Captain America 4, Captain America Brave New World. Obviously a movie that has been somewhat plagued by reshoots.
To the point where other properties were making fun of the reshoots.
Yeah, it's been plagued by reshoots, it's been plagued by rewrites, and it, for a little bit there, it was really starting to sound like this movie was going to be a disaster, and it, full transparency, it still could be.
Right. Yeah.
But I was really impressed with this trailer.
Yep, I got that feeling I haven't had in a while watching a Marvel trailer. I mean, in a long time, and it's a feeling of there's something to be seen. There's something, in universe to be seen. There's something with some weight to the entire universe to be seen. Like this feels like a track to there's something more at play here, which I really appreciated. So one thing that I don't think one person has talked about, it's Anthony Mackie. I feel like nobody's talked about Anthony Mackie as Captain America, and
which is kind of the shadow looming over his tenure so far as Captain America, to be honest.
Yep.
So, but no, that's a good point. Keep going.
And I mean, it's allegorical to real world, in universe too. Exactly what Falcon and the Winter Soldier was about. And it's a line that gets said in this trailer. You're not Steve Rogers. And good. I'm not Steve Rogers. I'm not. It's not that I'm more than that. I'm something different than that too. But I still, I'm a good person that needs to do the right thing, and it's simple as that. And I think that do the right thing is going to be a big piece of the plot of this movie.
Yeah, I hope honestly the movie doesn't labor too much on the I'm not Steve Rogers point, because that's kind of what the entirety of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be about. Maybe that's Marvel kind of covering their ground, being like, hey, maybe not everyone saw that. Sure. So maybe we kind of sprinkle a little bit of that kind of plot and that theme into this movie, but don't beat us over the head with it, because I want to see this character move beyond that premise at this point, and I want to see him kind of come to his own as Captain America. So hopefully that's kind of maybe an Act 1 kind of plot point, and then, obviously it'll be somewhat of a through line, but I hope it's just not, hope they don't belabor the point, and I hope they really just kind of make this about Sam and being like, hey, here he is, he's Captain America now. And then we saw Harrison Ford as taking over as Thunderbolt Ross, obviously with the untimely passing of William Hurt. And he said something interesting before we hopped on when we watched the trailer, and that he feels like Thunderbolt Ross, even though he's basically just doing Harrison Ford.
And to the further point of maybe Harrison Ford just feels like Thunderbolt Ross at the core. And, I think this is an interesting approach because this is a very old version of Thunderbolt Ross. It's like it's not something that we've seen before. Usually we see like in like my headspace, Ross is usually like in his like 60s almost in the comics. That's usually where he always feels like he fits. Like I like in like a early 80s, like this is my last ditch effort to make a difference and do anything.
As the president.
As the president, yeah. And they address right away. They address it. You look a little different. Well, they told me to shave the mustache or lose the election. And that's a really interesting plot point that I like about this movie. It's, this, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is going to be a political thriller. This is going to be a,
we hope.
We hope.
We hope this doesn't just default, because we thought Secret Invasion was going to be that.
Yeah, what show did that where, the whole it was, WandaVision isn't egregious doing it. I can't remember which show. I'm going to remember it that, the whole first part of it was, very interesting, very intriguing, and then they just divulge into like throw everything out. We're doing the CGI last episode. So I don't think it's going to be anything close to what Secret Invasion was. I think it's going to be much better than that.
I hope so.
I mean, around the board, you have Isaiah Bradley back, who is up to no good, seems to be controlled by somebody. You have Joaquin Torres back, which is awesome. He's going to obviously play the second version of Falcon, which is cool.
Yeah, so I'm of two minds with the Isaiah Bradley thing, and I usually don't get too much into like theorizing on here because I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. But at the same time, I feel like it speaks to how intrigued I was by that little bit of a plot point that I kind of want to theorize a little bit. The conventional wisdom appears to be he's being controlled by the leader. I think it may be a little more nefarious than that. I think Ross may be setting that up. I think it might be Ross actually instigating the method of his own assassination to kind of demean the value of a black super soldier. That's kind of my theory, my working theory right now.
I did not even remotely begin to even think about it that way. That's very interesting. That is a extremely interesting point. I still think it's the leader because of, in the trailer we're going to get there with Tim Blake Nelson, but you see him, in that same room, you see him taking pictures. So I think it is going to be a Bucky situation, which Sebastian Stan is in this movie. Weirdly enough, we didn't see him in a trailer though. I think that's, somewhat interesting. I'm going to get there in a little bit I think this movie and the Thunderbolts are going to be spiritual sequels to each other as well too. But,
that makes a lot of sense.
I do think it's the leader. The leader's going to, have Isaiah Bradley do what he did. Make sure, and it's just the line he said in the trailer, like powers are about to shift. Like there's going to be a gigantic shift in the way we think about things. And, I think for the leader, it's more of a, I like the fact that he's a scientist. I think that might be a lot of real world implication. Like, this scientist is just not being listened to by anything. And, now I have to take matters into my own hands. And that might have to be through physical power as well, too.
Yeah, that's a really great point. And I mean, just on the kind of direction action front, action looks pretty tight from what we saw.
Yeah.
Hopefully the flight sequence is obviously it's not going to be Top Gun Maverick, but I would like for it to be a little more practical looking and a little more kind of less reliant on the CGI stuff, because I think that could be a really sick sequence. Because we got a pretty sick flight sequence in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
in that first episode.
We got two. Yeah, the first episode and the last episode has a pretty good one as well.
Yeah, so I think you should kind of build this movie kind of in the vein of like we were talking about action movies a couple weeks ago. Like I think you can build this movie in the vein of like a Mission Impossible, where like you build the movie around these impressive set pieces, because you with the Steve Rogers Captain America character, you're not able to really do that. It's more like, he does some cool stuff with the shield. It's a lot of tight hand-to-hand fights, but with the Falcon version of Captain America, you can do a lot of kind of tight aerial action sequences that can look pretty cool. So I think on an action front, I think you have a lot of leeway to pull that off.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it feels like we're going to get a confrontation between Captain America and the Red Hulk.
Sure. And, that was the big stinger at the end. Obviously Ross turns into Red Hulk. And, where I think this is where it's going to lead into the Thunderbolts. Not by name of him being, Thaddeus Ross. I think it's going to be more of a situation where... So, let's put on the theory cap. This is what might happen. So, how I think this movie's going to go is, I still think that whatever Cersei did in the Eternal, she's turned Tiamat into adamantium. I think she did, like, unknowingly did.
Yes, he's back.
Yeah.
After many projects.
I'm not even upset. And
no, me either.
I keep seeing this of like this whole idea of like people are like, oh wow, we're finally. The Eternals came out in the end of 2021. This movie's coming out in like people are acting like this was like a 10-year pay. This wasn't a 10-year payoff. Like
it's not even a payoff. It's just,
and
it
this
just
movie
became a
also
gag.
was supposed to come out this year anyway, so it would have been like 2.5 years difference. It wouldn't have been like it was like a 7-year difference in between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. So. What I think is going to happen is Tiamat turned into adamantium. All the world powers are like, well, you're telling me, well, we can't get vibranium now. And there's no way we're ever going to get vibranium again. You're telling me there's this metal that might be more dense than vibranium, like, and that it's up for grabs. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is, Ross is going to be like, go get me that Sam. And Sam's going to be like, why? Like, why would I just get this for you? Like, I feel like I don't need to do that for you. And then what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to lose. I think Sam's going to lose at the end of this movie. And then what's going to happen is we're going to bring in the Thunderbolts. I think the Thunderbolts are going to come in and be like, you know what this might play as? This might play as the giant-sized X-Men from 75, where, obviously the entire X-Men get captured and then Cyclops comes back and is just like, help, basically. Like, we got to get them back. I think this might play like that, where Sam loses in the end, and then the Thunderbolts are supposed to come get them. But then, you know how there's that asterisk next to Thunderbolts? Mm-hmm. I think they're going to switch the name of that movie to the Dark Avengers. That's what I think is going to happen in the end.
Interesting.
And that's going to be like obviously you have U.S. Agent, you have a Black Widow, you have a Captain America, you have a Captain America, you have a Black Widow, you have if they choose to put the Abomination in that movie, you're going to have a Hulk in there. You have Ghost, so you have, an Ant-Man, adjacent person in there. Like, you have all these, surrogates for all your Avengers, which is what the Dark Avengers are as well, too. So I think that might be the play. You make sure you get all of them together, and, like, they go on this mission now.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense to me, I think.
And then I think that helps Sam as well, too, because, obviously, and this is, like, the Infinity Saga way of thinking towards like the end, like this is, now I have to see the next thing to see if Sam, gets out of this. Yeah. And then I think also what you think Mark Ruffalo's in this movie, I think he is.
Yeah, that's a super interesting question, right? Because it feels like he's so detached from anything truly Hulk related at the moment, and it feels like he's kind of been that way for a long time.
But all the Hulk characters are in this movie except for him. Like he's the only, I'm not counting She-Hulk, but he's the only one that's not in this movie.
Right.
You have Ross, you have Tim Blake Nelson, and also, what's her name's in this movie too? Liv Tyler's in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody's in this movie except for Mark Ruffalo, and Red Hulk shows up, but Hulk's just not, like, how are they gonna beat him in the end?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, that's been the question, right? When we found out that this was gonna turn into this kind of Hulk hybrid Captain America movie, mm-hmm. but the Hulk was never officially announced as being in it, and you're like, that's kind of weird, right?
This is a good track to, like I've been saying, this is the movie where you get the Avengers back, like you make your new Avengers. This is it. Call Hulk, you call Hulk and She-Hulk, you have the two of them, you get Shuri again. You have, who else do you have? You have Ant-Man you can get back. Like, you have characters around that you can do stuff with. So I feel like this is the movie where you restart the Avengers, and like, this is Sam Wilson's Avengers at this point, and then your point of contention is them with the Dark Avengers. Like, the government Avengers is the Dark Avengers, these people that are like, these are not good people. Like, some of these people are not good people. And then you have, like, this unsanctioned Avengers team. There's no Sokovia Accords, but they might try to do something like it again. Yeah.
You think he's going to get a new shield by the end of this movie?
An adamantium shield would make a lot of sense, or he gets a shield from it as well, too. It sets up the Weapon X program for whatever the MCU Wolverine's going to be as well, too. Like, that's why I think I'm truthfully excited for this movie, because I feel like this movie might be the one where it's like, starts to get the ball rolling a little bit. Like, I feel like we've been so stagnant. Like, this might be, and we said it, there's like 3 levels that we're operating now. It's the street level, the world level, and then the cosmic level. Like, this is a good piece to get the world level moving a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And then, I mean, I guess the other kind of sort of highlight was we got a couple shots of Giancarlo Esposito. Mm-hmm. wearing some sunglasses, firing a gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
Looks cool.
He looks cool.
Apparently, he's playing G.W. Bridge. Great name. George Washington Bridge from the comics, who essentially, what is he? He's works with Cable for a little bit.
Classically a Moon Knight villain.
Yeah, Moon Knight villain. Oh, which I'm glad you said that, because I think that's what they're going to do with it. And then classically a Moon Knight villain, also a Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, too. So, boy, I wish this move would have happened before Secret Invasion came out, because I feel like having somebody like Giancarlo Esposito might have made Secret Invasion a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't really... having the power of hindsight, they obviously weren't that interested in making Secret Invasion a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this too. You know, this is just trying to like patchwork. Like, I don't think that Marvel's ever going to invest back into to S.H.I.E.L.D. like full time. Obviously, Sword's the thing now. I keep thinking about it just because of, you know, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Like, they did so much in that show. They already touched upon the Kree for so long. They mentioned the Skrulls a bunch. Obviously, we didn't see any Skrulls, but then once you get into like the MCU side of things, like, then we get the whole Skrull stuff too. So I don't know if the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing is played out and done. I would like to see it come back though, and just to get again, I think what the MCU needs to do is add stability back and structure back. Like, I feel like just having those little things in there, like S.H.I.E.L.D's still a thing around. Like, I think that's what made the Infinity Saga so great. Is just like S.H.I.E.L.D. was a thing, so then you can like that's your through line to other things. Like that weaving tissue was just so strong. I feel like the weaving tissue is brittle right now, and you know, the fortunate nature of this movie is I feel like this is going to start to strengthen it a little bit, something like this.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know, like I said, all in all, I was a little obviously I was excited to see this movie, you know, having it be Sam's first outing as Captain America, but then all the stuff started happening with it, and I'm just like, uh-oh. But after this trailer, I think I'm reinvigorated again. I think I'm really looking forward to it, especially, you know, coming with what's coming next week with Deadpool, which everybody seems to be really, really high on, at least the things that have been shown. I know a lot of press have seen the first 35 minutes. Right. Reviews are pretty universal. You know, this is it. Like, it's shaping up to be a terrific movie. The trailers, everything that was in the trailers is apparently contained in this first 35 minutes.
Which is just bonkers to me, because it's a 2-hour movie, so... And
also, not much, you know, way back when this movie was filming, I think a lot of that stuff was really all that came out, as far as, like, set photos and stuff.
Right, yeah, we didn't really
that wastelandy...
Right.
Space.
Right, because we keep seeing the portal scene where they jump into a portal, but we don't know what comes of that. Like, we don't know what comes out of any of that. So if
they were able to hide some stuff and you know, because what's this movie, like 2 hours 12, I think?
I don't even think. I think it's 2. I think it might be just 2.
Yeah, I can't remember, but, you know, if the first 30 minutes is everything that we saw in those trailers, then we might be in for something pretty remarkable.
I think they have some heavyweight fighter swings in the, you know, just locked and loaded, ready to go. Because I think they know. I think they know that this, like, I think they know the naivete of the human, like the consumerism of a human, like, to be like, especially after Multiverse of Madness and then the last 4 years, I think they know better than to hold any punches. I think they said, we can't afford to have a movie like this. You know, it's the basis of us, you know, reviewing each Deadpool movie up to, and then our episode before. It's the whole basis of that, like, they can't afford to miss. Like, unfortunately, they truthfully can't, like, you know, not to think about it, because business is business, and a competition lens, like, everything that I keep seeing, just, like, from a social media lens, like, James Gunn's, he's at the starting gate, like, he's ready to start running. Obviously, you have Invincible, you have The Boys, like, these, like, non-DC Marvel properties that are starting to run, too, and, like, dominate when they come out. Like, if you miss on a movie like this, like, it's going to be tough to recover after something like this. So I think they know. I don't think they spared anything. I think they went full send. I think anything you think that probably could have happened, it might. I think they're going to really try to do some stuff.
I think so too. I totally agree with that. Do you have any other Captain America 4 thoughts?
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, my one ask is that, you know, this is an Anthony Mackie Captain America movie. Please do not forget that simple fact. Yep. He is the main character of this movie. Don't forget it. That might be a cardinal sin if they ignore him as the main character of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Speaking of Deadpool, yeah, Deadpool 2. So last week we obviously talked about Deadpool 1. A lot of that conversation revolved around the long, and sometimes you didn't think it was going to happen story behind Deadpool 1, obviously starting with X-Men Origins and culminating in Deadpool 1. And then, Deadpool 2 got greenlit in 2015, so it got greenlit before Deadpool 1 was released. And this was the one, obviously, the post-credits singer of Deadpool 1, he goes, oh, and Cable's in the next one. So people were like, all right.
Yeah, right.
All right, we're doing this. We're finally doing Cable. Conspicuous by his absence in X-Men Days of Future Past.
Right.
They wanted to use Cable, and then obviously they just didn't.
Right, yeah.
But Days of Future Past did not suffer for it, because Days of Future Past, which we'll find some space to talk about the X-Men movies at some point.
Yeah, that might come way down the line whenever the MCU gets there.
But Days of Future Past is really, really good.
Yeah, I enjoy that movie a lot.
And then, we'll talk a little bit about the directing. So Tim Miller was involved at the onset of this. He started writing it, and then departed the project due to creative differences, apparently between he and Ryan Reynolds. There was no bad blood or ill will between the two of them. Ryan Reynolds said, hey, without him, we don't get the first one. Like, he put everything he had into it. You know how the media can get. They tried to kind of drive a wedge between them, but for all intents and purposes, they seem to be on good terms. Kyle Chandler was originally supposed to be Cable. He was kind of the front runner. I
don't hate that one bit. I like Kyle Chandler as an actor. Anytime he shows up in something, you know where I love him the most, and it's an ironic I love him the most. Somehow it's Godzilla King of the Monsters, because I feel like he's the only one being super serious in a movie that should not be taken that seriously.
Yeah, that's a great point. But they managed to get Josh Brolin for this, who
just insane.
The year of 2018 for Josh Brolin. Good Lord, my friend. How much money? How much money did he make this year?
Every money.
So
all the money.
All the money. So he starts 2018 modest. The Legacy of White-tailed Deer Hunter.
Right. Good job.
I don't know who's seen that. I sure haven't. But he was probably good in it. And then he did a small independent movie called Avengers Infinity War.
I'll check that out one day. I'll see if it's any good.
You may have heard of it.
I definitely haven't.
Little small scale, small budget movie. Obviously he plays Thanos, and obviously is spawned, I don't know, a million quotes.
Yeah.
put up one of the greatest, motion captured performances this side of Andy Serkis.
Right.
As Thanos, and then he goes after Deadpool 2, he does Sicario.
Yeah.
After Sicario, he does Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
After Avengers Endgame, he does Dune. So, the guy just went on and continues to be on an absolute tear.
Yeah. You know what I love about Josh Brolin? He's such a giver, and I learned that in the book that he
he talks about this. Yeah,
Dune Exposure's book, where he kind of just says like, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, like they're the next up, and I'm just in awe. I'm just having a fun. I'm just an old man having some fun, hanging out with my kids, and that's it. Josh Brolin just seems like obviously a nepo baby, Josh Brolin, but we don't care. Some of them we let rock. That's one we'll let rock.
Yeah, and obviously Stephen Lang had been the fan casted. Yep. Long-time fan casted for Cable, which I think would have been great.
Oh yeah, still could happen.
We're big fans of Stephen Lang on this podcast.
Yeah, that still could happen.
If you've ever listened, it could still happen. If you've ever listened to any of our Avatar podcasts, we're big fans of Stephen Lang on this podcast. He shot Will Smith. He did shoot Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But he's tremendous as Cable.
I think what Brolin does is again, sometimes we say this a lot too. It's great when you understand the assignment, because I think they wanted that, still be the Josh Brolin, like the menace, not menacing, but like the gravitas of Josh Brolin as like the name itself. I still need that, but you're also way too funny for your own good. Like his comedic timing is great, because there's no comedy to it's unintentional every time he does something.
Well, because what this movie does is it moves Colossus out of the straight man role and more into like the goofy kind of Jughead role. So Cable comes in as now the new straight man, and it works flawlessly.
Right.
I think it was Ryan Reynolds that kind of really pushed for Brolin, and I feel like Ryan Reynolds has a great feel for who he thinks he will work with the best.
That's an incredible point, actually. Is like, because the point, with Tim Miller as well, like if the main character is also like the main producer and like the guy that's really running the ship and making sure everything's getting done, like it's got to be cruise control by the time I get there. It's got to be like, I don't have to think about this person being alongside of me. Like, we just need to work together. And I think Josh Brolin's so like sublime in the way he acts. I think that's the perfect counter for Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think Ryan Reynolds had a great feel for who he would bounce off of, and that also results in getting Zazie Beetz as Domino, which was also a tremendous get.
Yeah, maybe my favorite addition to this movie because she's she's ridiculously charismatic, and she doesn't do a lot either, which I think is the best decision too. She like not like plot wise, she's just herself. Like she just exists in this realm, and then I guess it is lucky that they got her too.
Yeah, the short list for Domino. So Lizzie Kaplan, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, which I think
that would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
Yep.
Sienna Miller.
Now I'm glad that didn't happen because she probably wouldn't have been in Birds of Prey if that happened.
Yeah.
I don't have rage issues. Do we ever talk about that movie? We'll talk about that movie one day. Because I think it's the single most underrated DCEU movie, and I'll die on that hill.
I think I agree with you. Sophia Boutella, Stephanie Sigmund, Sylvia Hoeks, Mackenzie Davis, Ruby Rose, Eve Hewson, Kelly Rohrbach were all on the short list. Aubrey Plaza auditioned for the role of Domino.
Interesting.
I don't think she's quite right for it. I think retroactively, just because I love the kind of charisma that Zazie Beetz brings to the role. I think Aubrey Plaza obviously
hers is more dry, and that's why I like it. But it works in certain.
Well, that's why the Mary Elizabeth Winstead, that's kind of like a similar lane. So it does feel like they were kind of going for a more reserved kind of dry humor, but maybe they figured they kind of had that already with Cable, so they wanted something like kind of on the other end of the spectrum. Yep. Someone who can kind of put, because Cable can put Deadpool in his place physically,
right? But
they needed someone to put him in his place verbally,
right?
And I think that's what Domino kind of does, because like the whole movie, like Deadpool's like, your powers aren't real, you suck, like luck is not a real thing, and Domino's like, oh yeah, watch this,
right? You wouldn't have got the zip it Black Widow joke,
right? You couldn't have got that off if you casted Aubrey Plaza. That would the joke wouldn't have landed. Marina Baccarin obviously back in a little
channel favorite now. Marina Baccarin.
Yeah, she's great. She's not in this a lot.
No, purposefully. Because that's a plot piece we'll get to when we talk about the plot of this movie.
Yep. So she's not in this much. We get the debut of Fire Fist. So Julian Dennison plays Fire Fist. Apparently this was a lock for Ryan Reynolds. He saw Dennison in Hunt for the Wilder People and was like, that's him. That's my Fire Fist. He's in. And I think he's great.
Again, it's the thing where it's such like a, what's funny about it? It's this whole, it's like the anti, what's her name? Daphne Keane and Hugh Jackman from Logan. It's like it's like the perfect counter for that. I think that was a conscious decision as well too. Because I think obviously I think that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were friends, so I bet they were talking about Logan before this movie was coming out. And Ryan Reynolds was like, what if I also did the same thing? Because I'm going to talk about it. This movie is Logan, and I'll get there. This has a lot of Logan elements, and I think that was on purpose. Not only for like joke purposes, but I think for the studio. I think it was on purpose.
Yep. And then, returning characters. So, Brianna Hildebrand comes back as Negasonic. We get Stefan Kapich returning as Colossus. Leslie Adams comes back as Blind Owl. Karan Soni comes back as Dopinder. And then TJ Miller's back.
Notorious horrible person, TJ Miller.
Yes. Second week in a row.
Yeah, I didn't talk enough crap about TJ Miller last week.
Yeah, because your space was spent on Gina Carano.
Yeah, but TJ Miller's also a horrible person.
Yeah, so she's out of the way now.
Thank God, making that low budget movie nobody cared about.
He's also not in this as much as he was in the first one.
He's a horrible person.
Yeah, agreed. And that's pretty much it for the major cast. We get some surprises later, in the form of the X-Force. X-Force.
Yes.
is in this. That was kind of, everyone was ready to put X-Force in this. So yeah, that's the cast and kind of the backstory. Obviously, David Leitch we talked about getting his feet wet here. He did Atomic Blonde. Now he's doing this.
Yeah,
and
you notice out of the first action sequence too. It's him. You can tell right away that this is somebody in. You can crutch it and say this is budgetary, which I won't deny that budget helps with stunt coordination to a degree, but it doesn't look as decent as the first act without somebody like David Leitch there too.
Yep. This movie again is relatively short, not as long as the first one, or it is longer than the first one, but not by much. It's about 2 hours. This one's about 2 hours. Budget did not, Fox kind of showing a little restraint here. Mm-hmm. The first movie was only a $58 million budget. This one only 110, so not even double of the first movie this movie budgeted, which I think this movie benefits from that. And box office, it becomes the biggest R-rated movie of all time.
Right.
Until Joker comes along. It made $785 million at the box office, obviously a massive success. And it was an interesting test case. I think people were really curious to see if they could just do this again with Deadpool. Like, are we really going to be able to sit with this character for another 2 hours with the jokey and the fourth wall breaking and the bevy of toilet humor? And yeah, we are. This movie's also hilarious.
And that's why you gotta step your action up too. You can't get complacent and just, have yourself relying on something. The action is much better in this movie. Not that the first movie's action was still good, but this movie feels higher budget, except for one sequence in the middle of the movie that I'll talk about, where I don't know what happened in this sequence, but I don't know if maybe it was purposeful. They did it that way. I had a theory that that's what they did that on purpose, but this movie is perfect. It looks good. This movie looks pretty. It noticeably looks like it's color graded even better. This you could tell this feels a little bit more like the studio said, this is, you can have a little bit more. Here's $17 more. Gareth Edwards would have been like, keep the money.
In fact, I'm giving you money.
I'm gonna give you money.
Okay, Gareth Edwards directing a Deadpool movie would be hilarious.
Oh, like Gareth Edwards direct Secret Wars. I'm telling you, it's gonna be incredible. He's gonna go to Disney. He's gonna be like, we're just gonna travel to Battleworld. He said that's not a real place. To you, it's not.
We're filming this in a box.
Yeah, that box is a multiversal box. So, we're actually just gonna find Captain America on the street, give him super soldier serum, have him be in the movie.
Yeah. So I mean, the plot of this movie again, relatively straightforward. It's a love story / revenge film.
Yeah. Yep. So just like the first one.
Yeah.
No, this movie's Logan because guess what, Wolvie? I die in this one too.
Or does he?
Or does he?
So yeah, Deadpool has been Deadpooling for quite some time.
Doing pretty good at it.
He's very good at it. He's killing all sorts of mobsters and criminals, except for one that he lets escape, and he rues that day as this said criminal comes back and kills Vanessa. So Marina Baccarin gets fridged in this movie.
Unreal. What were you guys thinking?
Bad idea. Yeah, so she's killed and Wade is not happy, obviously. He wants to kill himself, but he can't. He's cursed by his ridiculous healing factor.
Right.
He explodes himself. He's discovered by Colossus, who rehabs him in the X-Mansion and is like, come join the X-Men, Wade. And Wade's like, absolutely not. I don't wanna. But he goes on a little mission with the X-Men.
Training mission.
He's got the t-shirt. X-Men trainee as Colossus and Negasonic are easy to remind him, and this is where he comes under he meets Fire Fist for the first time. Russell Collins, owned by the Essex Corporation. You're Essex from Marvel Comics.
Not bad. That was good. I taught you well.
And then here comes Cable.
Cable's like, what's up? I need that child to die immediately. That's the plot. That's the plot.
Yep. And it's all about the friends we made along the way.
That's it. But seriously, Cable comes back from the future. Copyright. Cable comes back from the future. He's just like, I need that child dead in ways that you cannot understand. And Deadpool's like, wait. Maybe we could try to save this kid. It's all right. So basically what happens is, they get detained, right? Basically, Wade and the kid get detained. They got the anti-mutant collars from... You're the anti-mutant collars from Marvel Comics, aren't you? And they get thrown in prison.
The icebox.
The icebox. They're bunkmates, having a good time. Black Tom Cassidy's there.
He is Black Tom Cassidy.
And there's a big old guy in the basement. Needs his own floor to himself.
Oh, man.
What Marvel character are you? Find out next week on X-Men 97. Just kidding. But yeah, Prison Break. Action sequence. Loud. Bang. Good stuff. Good action sequence. Set to dubstep.
Yeah.
In the future, is dubstep still a thing?
Yeah, Prison Break. We got a Prison Break. And then, we got a free Russell from the prison convoy.
Right.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna get a team together, aren't we?
Well, basically, what happens in the prison too is Wade kind of, shoves Russell off to the side. Wade's just like, we're not friends. Like, I don't need you. You don't need me. Like, I'm no good to anybody. Like, nobody even around me can stay alive. So
and that fuels his rage.
Yep. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go find the biggest guy, and I'm gonna be friends with them. So he sneaks into the basement. Which Marvel character are you? We'll find out next week.
We'll find out soon. We'll find out shortly. So we're organizing. We're getting a team together to save Russell. We're gonna call it
X-Force.
X-Force.
Now you're probably thinking, they're gonna get Wolverine, maybe Archangel, Psylocke. No.
No, we are going to use this. We are going to use this just for nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
It's incredible. It's such a slap into the face, and I love it because I do think that the MCU is going to use X-Force at some point. So I'm glad that we got this jokey version, and I don't think Fox ever would have done an X-Force movie.
And anyway. we get some actors. We get some actors to play the X-Force characters.
Now, who's the X-Force? What's in the box, Deep?
So
what's the box made of, Deep? Zinc Homelander. And what can I see through?
Zinc Homelander.
Right again.
X-Force, man.
I just wasn't expecting it in this movie.
We're doing tryouts. Terry Crews is here.
Yep.
He plays Bedlam.
Mm-hmm. You're Bedlam from Marvel Comics, so I'm going to get a lot of these off in this one.
Yep. Louis Tan shows up in this. Mortal Kombat's own Louis Tan.
Before the fame.
It's not a birthmark hole. You've been chosen.
That means you're Shatterstar.
Yes, he's Shatterstar. Bill Skarsgård is in this.
Zeitgeist.
As Zeitgeist. And Rob Delaney as Peter. Wonderful.
The most innocent character. Maybe the best character in movie history.
And then we get, obviously this is where we get Zazie Beetz. Mm-hmm. Shows up as Domino. Your powers aren't real. You suck. Mm-hmm. She's like, my powers are real. Mm-hmm. Because I'm on X-Force.
And last but not least, the Vanisher.
Are we ever going to find out who plays the Vanisher?
Maybe.
We might.
Shoot,
we might. All right, so we're going to rest. Obviously, Cable is like, no, I'm not on your team. I'm going back to the future. I need to mourn my daughter. Mm-hmm. You're so dark and brooding. Are you sure you aren't from the DC universe? Zing! Got him.
They got him twice in this movie, too.
They did get him twice. And
I was actually fighting a caped hero, and he also found out that his mother's name was Martha.
So we're doing a plane sequence. Shout out Fast and Furious. We're doing a plane sequence. They all jump out of the plane, and they're like, X-Force unite, X-Force activate, and they all die.
It's bad.
It's hilarious.
It's real bad.
One of them flies into a wood chipper.
Zeitgeist. Yep. And then when Bedlam goes to save him, he throws up all over it. No. Peter goes to save him. We'll save Peter for a second. Who do we got? We got Bedlam gets brutally murdered.
Yep.
Zeitgeist, like I said, he falls into the wood chipper. Shatterstar flies into a helicopter rotor. And he's from Mojo World, so he has the green goo just going everywhere, green blood.
Yep. Yep.
Who else we got?
That's it. That's the team.
Besides Peter.
Yeah. Poor Peter.
You're doing it, Sugar Bear. Get down there. Gets down there. Unhooks. Good job, Peter. Goes to try to save Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist murders Peter after throwing up on him. Rip. R.I.P. to our real one.
Yep.
Zazie Beetz is good, though.
Yep. She's lucky.
Yep. Wade's mourning the loss of everybody, and then she's like, I'm in. He's like, you're what? How'd you get in there?
Your powers still aren't real.
It's still not real.
But the Vanisher. The Vanisher gets zapped. He flies into an electrical power line. And wouldn't you know it...
You're Brad Pitt from cinema, aren't you?
Oh my god.
Insane. Wild. I can't even believe he said yes to that. Didn't they make a deal or something? He had to do something for him? I forget how the story goes. There's a reason why Brad Pitt said yes, because I know they're friends, so there's a reason he said yes.
Yeah, he was shortlisted for Cable, but scheduling conflicts would not allow for it.
And I don't think Brad Pitt also would have allowed for it. Funny enough.
I don't know. He was in this. He did this bit.
Well, he's David Leitch's guy too, because he was in. Obviously, he ended up being in Bullet Train. So
yeah, he might have done it. I
don't know.
That would have been crazy.
That would have been nuts. Yeah.
So Cable shows back up. He's like, I'm killing Fire Fist.
Mm-hmm.
They held on to it for 2 movies, but they do the X-Men Origins callback with the spinny swords deflecting the bullets, and he gets Swiss cheesed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, that didn't work out the way I thought it would, which is hilarious. And then the other shoe drops on who the big fella is in the caravan, and it's the Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut from Marvel Comics. Holy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Juggernaut. Voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna rip you in half now.
But yeah, the freaking Juggernaut's in this movie. This was amazing at the time.
Just insane. Just
comic accurate looking
comic
Juggernaut.
accurate, just a very large human being Juggernaut.
Shout out Vinnie Jones, but
yeah, but
you're not the Juggernaut.
Vinnie Jones coming back for Deadpool 3 though, which I think would be hilarious.
I think Vinnie Jones Juggernaut should get killed by Deadpool Juggernaut.
Ripped in half?
Yeah, in this movie.
I'm gonna rip you in half now.
In this movie.
I'm the Juggernaut!
In Deadpool 3. I think that would be hilarious.
Just like poetry, it rhymes.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I think it'd be hilarious. Yep, Juggernaut destroys everything, rips Deadpool in half, and escapes.
Mm-hmm. So we get the gag again. So this is a big funny gag. Wade goes back. Wade's recuperating. Obviously, end second half, rally the troops, get ready for third act happens. Cable shows up. They're like, shoot. He's here to murder us. He's like, no. Listen, I'll give you 10 seconds to try to save the kid morally, or else I'm murdering him. So you got 2 options, buddy, but team up.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Cable, classic.
Because we find out that Fire Fist becomes a maniac in the future.
Yeah. So the big reveal is that he turns into like a
Omega level threat detected.
Yeah. I mean, he's powerful. He's real powerful. The future sucks, but Cable's happy, I guess.
It's not the Sentinel future. It's the Fire.
Is it not?
It's the Fire Fist future.
Is it not the Sentinel future? It might be.
We'll never know.
I guess. Yeah. We'll never know.
Wade's got tiny legs.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't my legs, Blondell.
No, she's just like, why's your hand small again? That's not my hand.
Big fight.
Mm-hmm. Big old fight. They go back to the school. Lots happens. Juggernaut versus Colossus, which awesome.
Colossus gets in another fight with the big dumb muscle like he did in the first one.
But this one is big CGI fight coming through. Everybody get out of the way. And that's a good point you made about Colossus earlier, where he kind of goes into like the goofball like side character role instead of like the the way he was in the first movie. So I think that's a good point.
2 or 3 moments. Huh?
Yeah, that guy's gone. That guy's gone in this movie. He's cursing up a storm at the end of the movie. Good stuff.
Come again? Yeah. And
I'm gonna need a bus to get you kids out of there. Oh, nice.
So Wade gets collared throughout, in the fray he gets collared. And then Cable's like, that's it. You had your chance. I'm killing the kid now. He shoots at Russell. Wade dives in front of the bullet, wearing his collar, so his healing factor is neutralized. He dies.
Yep.
And then
good guy Cable.
Yeah. So Wade dies. And this convinces Russell to not become a mass murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And it saves Cable's family.
Good job, Russell.
And then Cable decides to pay Wade back in kind and saves Wade's life.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back in time to when Wade was shot, puts Vanessa's the skee ball token in front of Wade to save his life. And yeah, Cable decides he's going to stay in the present day, never be seen again.
Yeah, let me just hang out here to never be in another movie again.
Do you think he's going to be in Deadpool 3? Do you think they're hiding that one?
Oh, I had something even better. I think he's going to be Thanos in Deadpool 3.
Oh my god. That would be fantastic.
I think he's going to... Because, like, it's too easy for him to be Cable in that movie. If you could get him to be Thanos, I think that would be infinitely funnier. You look like my friend.
Infinitely funnier, you say?
You kind of sound like my friend.
Oh, that would be kind of funny, because he makes a Thanos gag in this movie.
Yeah, he does. Zip it, Thanos.
So then, and then hilariously, the headmaster is killed. Mm-hmm. The headmaster of Essex.
He even runs like a pedophile. This movie's still funny.
This movie is hilarious. Dopinder kills the headmaster.
Yeah, Dopinder's developing bloodlust for being a mercenary. Dude, I love Dopinder so much.
And then that's it. That's the end of the movie.
Post-credit scene.
Yeah, we get a few. We get a bunch of these. The first one, so Negasonic and Yukio. So Yukio is in this.
My favorite relationship it's my favorite relationship from a throuple standpoint of Wade being the outside looking in, accepting uncle is just funny. You
may also know the character of Yukio from not the anime. I wasn't going to say that.
It sounded like you said Yu-Gi-Oh for a second.
The Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Yukio is in the Wolverine, which is another kind of tie to Hugh Jackman, who gets a lot of strays thrown his way in this movie.
Yep.
I mean, I think with or without the MCU machine, I think they would have gotten him in a third Deadpool movie.
I think you're wrong. I think he would have been absolutely done. And I think that Disney showed him that money and he said, yep.
I think the power of his friendship with Ryan Reynolds would have gotten him back.
I don't think so.
I don't think it would have been as good.
I just don't think Fox was on the right track enough to do it at that point too. Like by the time that Dark Phoenix, because we would have gotten this probably in the 2020s, this third movie. Yeah, I don't think there's a shot that Hugh Jackman comes back after.
I mean, when in doubt, when you're Fox, you break the glass and you get Hugh to do a thing as Wolverine.
I just think I do think he was done. Like, I think he was 1,000% or 99.9% done, and then I think there was hope for the X-Men again. Like, there was no hope for the X-Men after Dark Phoenix. And after New Mutants Dark Phoenix, you think that anybody would have been like, yeah, I'm chomping at the bits to come back.
You mean the best X-Men movie?
Nope. The best X-Men movie or the X-Men movie no one saw? Which one?
Both?
Are they both the same thing?
So yeah, we get a few post-credit scenes in this. So they fix Cable's time traveling mechanism. So Wade's gonna right all the wrongs of his life, and he saves Vanessa. Which is, did you think it was weird that they did that in the post-credit scene?
Yeah, but I guess that might be one of the greatest examples in superhero movies of hindsight's 2020 because it worked out. Because now the TVA is going to be involved in the third one. So, without even remotely even thinking about realizing, that probably was one of the best decisions of like a pretty big storytelling no that they could have done.
And he saves Peter.
Yeah. He kills Ryan Reynolds before he takes the script for Green Lantern.
Yep, he beheads the Weapon 11 from X-Men Origins, which they actually reshot that sequence, apparently, with Hugh Jackman's permission.
Or they used, like, the stock footage.
They used, like, they reshot, they did the beheading, they shot that, and then used kind of, like,
just
original cut footage of that to do, which I think is hilarious. Because, I mean, you had to. You had to do it. Again, great restraint not doing it in the first movie and just doing it in the second one. And then he shoots Ryan Reynolds in the head. Because don't do Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds, don't do it.
He did it anyway.
Great job though by Ryan Reynolds surviving that. Not many actors could have survived that.
And then got the payoff that he did, because at that point, I mean, where was his career going after that?
I don't know. He was going back to rom-coms, I guess.
Yeah, he probably would have had to, and then rom-coms became a dying breed, like, during the same time, so...
Yeah, so he's probably going back to rom-coms, and then he's probably just on Netflix the rest of his life.
Yeah, he's probably just, like, one of the funny guys around. Now he's, like, one of the biggest superhero names ever.
Yeah, and he's potentially saving the MCU, question mark?
He is Marvel Jesus.
He is Marvel Jesus. I don't know why I said Jeepus. So, man, what happens after this movie? So they were getting ready. They were getting ready for Deadpool 3. Fox was getting ready for Deadpool 3. That was going to include a full-fledged X-Force team. And
at that point, I did they have a lineup ready to go?
I don't know if they ever solidified one.
You know what? maybe I don't know if you get Hugh Jackman back without Disney, dude.
I think they would have tried.
They would have tried. 1,000% they would have tried.
I think they could have sold it just being like, hey, these two movies made almost $2 billion. This is easily our most profitable X-Men thing. You and Ryan Reynolds are friends.
You don't have to play your version of Wolverine, too. Like, they probably would have gotten him the suit, too. I do think they would have. And we said, funny enough, last week how good the Deadpool suit is. And, I mean, still, it's a different thought process, but the Deadpool 3 Wolverine suit looks phenomenal, so.
Yeah. But, Marvel gets Fox in 2019. All the X-Men films in development get canceled, including X-Force and Deadpool 3, because X-Force was going to be its own movie. Mm-hmm. They were gonna MCU this. They were going to do X-Force, and then they were going to do Deadpool 3 after that. Mm-hmm. And then Marvel was just like, give it. And they got it. And then that sets up this that we're going to get next week with Deadpool 3. Mm.
It might be the one, man. It might be the one.
Yeah. I mean, revisiting these first two just makes me remember, like, oh, no, these movies are, like, really good. Like, in terms of, like, a film at this time, a duology of films, mm-hmm. Both these movies are really good. I think we both kind of had the same kind of realization that, like, I feel like upon first seeing it in the theaters, like, you feel like Deadpool 1 is better, but they're either, like, of the same quality or Deadpool 2 might be better.
Yeah, it's just, I think Deadpool 2, it's funny, like, obviously, we love Morena Baccarin, so, like, taking her out of the movie kind of sucks, but, like, storytelling-wise, that's good. Take the thing, it's like, again, sometimes simplicity is better. Take her away, like, give Wade, it's simple. I feel like a lot of movies, especially in comedies or, like, these superhero movies that deal in comedy, like, you do, like, simple storytelling beats. Like, you take the thing away from the hero in a second movie. Like, hero has to go on a journey to get that thing back and rediscover himself and rediscover the new world that he's in. So, also adding Josh Brolin in there, adding Cable in there, it's a good contention. And then a good friend by the end of the movie as well, too. So, this movie's just not complacent on itself, I think. I think that's the best way to think about it.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And that's Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Really good. Mm-hmm. Really, really good. Really consistently good. Action's really good. The movie is very, very funny. And everyone's great. Again, much like the first one. Like, everyone just plays their roles perfectly. Even though, you might not have expected some of these things or some of these performances, you still got them. And they were still really, really good. Mm-hmm. And it just, again, this whole revisiting these two Deadpool movies are just, like, kind of just these reinforcements for me and for both of us probably that, like, this Deadpool 3 movie is probably in good hands as long as Ryan Reynolds is still there.
I mean, talking preview for Deadpool 3, I mean, Sean Levy's the biggest thought process pickup that they had. And I think it's a combo of trust for Ryan. Like, just like we said, like, you're not thinking to go out and be like, obviously it'd be nice if you can go grab, like, like one of, like, a huge time director. But, I feel like getting Sean Levy, like, fun's not a bad thing to do, and I feel like the Free Guy was fun, and, like, Sean Levy did the Adam Project as well too with Ryan Reynolds, so, like, obviously this is somebody that Ryan Reynolds trusted.
He's also getting a Star Wars movie.
Which one is he getting? He's getting,
I don't think they've said specifically which one he's getting.
It just feels like, I mean, bigger term for Sean Levy, but I feel like Hollywood is, like, happy with Sean Levy and, like, what he's doing, so, like, these studios are like, this is somebody that can inject energy into whatever we have, and it's, like, a good, like, it could be, like, a family movie, or even these streaming services, like, could be a family movie, could be a rated R movie, could be a superhero movie, could be a property movie, but Sean Levy could be a guy where it's, like, a good person to get, seems, like, good to work with for all intents and purposes. Like, I know for the Adam Project, I was looking at some of, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff, like, people, like, he seems like a fun person to be around, so, what you want, especially for somebody like Hugh Jackman, which is, I think, is a good point, like, you have to sell him on the, like, why am I here? Like, you have to sell him on the fact of, like, I've done this for, like, Hugh Jackman has been Wolverine for my entire life. Like, he literally has been casted as Wolverine since before I was born.
It's an underrated kind of, like, this guy has been this character for this long. Mm-hmm. Like, it's up there.
Because he looks the freaking same. It's insane.
It's on par with, like, Indiana Jones. Like, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. Like, that's the type of tenure you're talking, which sounds insane for a comic book character, but that's the type of longevity we're talking about here. Like, he's been Wolverine since 2000. Like, it's insane.
I mean, if we talk about the character to the actor, like, he is in the top 3 for the superhero. Like, what is it? It's him. I'd say, it's him. Obviously, it's Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. It's probably just the two of them. Like, those are the two most synonymous to each other there's ever been. Like, I'm trying to think. And Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Those are probably the 3 that are, like, the most, like, this is the person that's in the role. Like, that's actually the person that they're just
probably the list, man. You know, I would say, like, a lot of the Batman actors are probably disqualified just because of how many of them there have been.
Yeah, and then you have to add the Spider-Man actors, because before I would have said, I probably could have comfortably said Tobey before, but, you know, I think that New Age, it's not as resonant with some people in the New Age. Like, I mean, I joked about this to you, like, the older I get, I keep gaining respect for that Raimi trilogy the older I get. But yeah, the 3 of them are like the actors that's like, that's the guy. Like, that's the person that's playing them.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then, I mean, this goes back to the story that we saw, I don't know, three months ago maybe, that Kevin Feige, upon seeing the final cut of Deadpool, was like,
put him on shortlist, Secret Wars shortlist. Like, that guy,
I mean, we saw that they sent him the script apparently, and are kind of just like waiting for him to say yes or no. That kind of tells you a lot.
Yeah, I think he knows. It's like, I feel like Secret Wars is starting to get this like stigma and niche around it. Like, if you're gonna take this on, you don't understand what you're about to take on. Like, this thing is, we are going to make the single biggest movie in film history. Like, this will be or whatever, you know. They're probably gonna have to do what was I saying before? I think I said on one episode, I think they're going to split it into 3 movies. Like, I don't know how even 2 movies, I don't know if that's enough for Secret Wars with what they're trying to cover. So, like, the commitment of your life, you might have to take a decade of your life to complete this trilogy. Like, this thing might be like I
think he's a relatively young guy.
Yeah, what is he?
He's 55.
Yeah, so he's, you know, obviously he's got time. It's just a want. Like, it's like, it's a big ask to do something like this. Like, it's like, but that's got to make him feel good. He's probably, I mean, you know, I'm always of the volition that, like, none of these people are ignoring social media. I don't believe it, that none of them are like, they know what's going on. Like, he probably is like looking at it and looking at the fan reception, be like, oh, I can do this. Like, I actually can do this.
Well, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be part of 2 Marvel panels at Comic-Con. So it's kind of, again, it kind of goes to the confidence that they apparently have in this movie, that this movie is going to get like a post-release Comic-Con panel.
I think that's very interesting. I think that's extremely interesting. I think they might try to do something with that.
I think so too. I think they're going to be like, this movie is the cornerstone for whatever we're doing.
Yeah, this is the bridge point into whatever Secret Wars, like the road to Secret Wars, because I know, you know, there's rumors about how this movie's going to deal with, like, we didn't even talk about any of the TVA stuff.
Well, yeah,
like,
I mean, that's going to be more next week.
Right, like we didn't even talk about any, like, next week's going to be a little bit more MCU focused a little bit, so.
Yeah, because it almost feels like they've been they've been trying to get, like, whatever their Iron Man is for this multiversal saga, it feels like they've been trying to get it, and they haven't gotten it for one reason or the other. You know, for a bunch of reasons that's been the case, but it does feel like this movie is kind of, in their view, this could be the Iron Man for the multiversal saga, which sounds crazy because we're how many years into it?
Yeah, we're 4 years into this.
And they finally, but how many discussions have we had about this where, like, we're trying to figure out, like, what is your direction for this saga? Maybe it's this.
Right.
This could be it. Like, this could be the thing.
Yeah, and is it not poetic that it's characters outside of the universe with the same property that's going to be the one that bridges it? It might actually make the most sense to start this way.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's really cool. And then, yeah, I mean, apparently, like I said, one of 2 Marvel panels at Comic-Con. The other one is going to be, like, the big, they're doing it again. They're doing it again, the thing that I hate that they do.
I mean, I'll be fine if it's something, just one. But, like, it's got to be definitive. And I purposely think that's why they're having Deadpool and Wolverine be there post the movie coming out. Because that's, like...
Don't give me your movie and TV slate till, like, 2032. Give me, like, Give me like the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the next 4 years of what your plan is.
I think that's the point.
I hope so.
You know what I think we're gonna get? I think we're gonna know who's gonna direct Secret Wars on Saturday. I think, or it's next Saturday, right? That's Comic-Con's like next weekend. I'm pretty sure it's always
we got too much to do.
Yeah, it's always the last weekend in July.
We got too much. We got too much to do.
So
we got too much to do in the next couple of weeks. It can't be.
We're postponing Comic-Con for a couple weeks.
Shit, it's the 25th.
Yeah. So
25th through the 27th.
Yep. So the 27th, the day that
the 28th. Yeah, 25th
right.
through the 28th.
So the day that Deadpool comes out. We'll be in that time. Like I said, I think we're gonna know, and I think there's a very, 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 very high chance it is Sean Levy that's going to direct Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how he handles. I want to see how he handles like emotion and acting and those types of things, like the more cinema related things. I want to see how he handles something like that. I'm very interested because that's where I was leaning like Coogler or Raimi a little bit more because I think they understand that a little bit more. But I think that Marvel understands it's like. People are people. Like they know the crowd pops from Endgame and No Way Home. Like they know.
Yeah. You want to give out some awards for Deadpool 2?
We have to, don't we? Best relationship.
I think you stepped on it before with Negasonic and Yukio.
But like,
I think
with
they're great.
Added sprinkle of Wade on top of it.
Yeah, I think they're great. They're all great together.
Bye, Wade.
She's back in this.
Fly high, Yukio.
For a little bit of this. A little bit of Deadpool 3, she's going to be back.
Most underrated character? Is it Dopinder again?
Wait, is it? It might be, actually.
Yeah, he's great.
He is really good. I love his
arc.
Again.
I hope they pay off the arc in the third one, though, where he's now like a full-fledged like assassin at this point.
That would be fun.
And I hope he has his girl, too.
Oh,
then he murders his cousin.
You gotta give him the girl. You gotta give him the girl.
Give him the girl and have him had murder with his cousin because he was in the way. Most heroic moment.
Wade saving Firefist. unexpected, heroic and somber moment when you're like, oh, I like how they orchestrated that bit with like, I talked about last week how hilariously ridiculous his healing factor is, and you take it away, you make him mortal, right? And you're like, oh, wow,
right. I don't think we said it, but basically what he does, he puts the collar on, and that's what does it to him.
Yeah,
and then he's slowly dying the whole time. I have to agree with that one. That's a good one. Best bit.
Best bit.
Is it Cable being shorter than he is in the comics? Because they're gonna do it in this movie too. So I think that's a good prerequisite to that.
That's a pretty good bit. Cable thinking everyone's a pedophile.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually kind of funny. That's pretty good. Best battle. Man, the prison break is good.
Prison break is really good.
Prison break is pretty good. I think that's where David Leitch flexes the most.
I like the prison break. I like the prison truck. Everything leading up to the prison truck.
Mm-hmm.
The moving car fight with Cable down to the truck, down to the reveal of the Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is there's a little sequence in the middle where it looks horrible. You think that was intentional or
no? I don't think so.
Because it looks like laughable, like it looks CW bad.
I mean, it's Fox.
I just don't know how they snuck that in there, and then they had sequences like before too, because there's parts of the movies that look really good.
I don't know.
Very interesting. Favorite cameo? 3, 2, 1.
The Juggernaut.
I said it was Brad Pitt.
Yeah, the Brad Pitt, but the Juggernaut. I mean, the Juggernaut one blew my mind.
I mean, it was more of like a reveal.
Yeah, that's true. Because he's less of a cameo than. Right. He's in it a little bit more than that, I guess.
Right. Just Brad Pitt just had my jaw. Like, I was like, holy, is that Brad Pitt? I was like, I couldn't believe he was.
Him and Matt Damon, man, sneaking into these Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they got to team up for one.
Get Ben Affleck in there.
Nope. Oh, Should we wait till next week, or should we just address it now?
What? Him coming back as I almost said Deadpool. Coming back as Daredevil.
Do you think he's in that movie?
He's got to be, right? Because
I think at this point he just thinks that like it's a joke at this point.
Like, would you just get Elektra?
I said the same thing. I said there's no way.
I forgot she was in this,
right.
In that movie, by the way.
I said there's no shot that you put Jennifer Garner and you don't put him in the movie.
Unless he really just didn't want to do it. Like, he's totally washed his hands.
You know what's funny about that? I think that Brad Pitt being in the second one helped convince him to be in this one.
Could be. I mean, we're gonna find out.
We are gonna.
We have a whole probably 90-ish minutes of that movie that we have no clue what's gonna happen.
I really think he's gonna be.
Even the people that have seen the first half hour are like, no, there's some wild stuff in just that first half hour. So like I think what you said before is great. Like it's all bets are kind of off.
Right. And then I do also think, what was the other one that I thought about? I do kind of think that Wesley Snipes also might be in this movie too. And just because of Blade Trinity.
That would also be...
I think that would be...
crazy.
Phenomenally hilarious. And the way those Blade movies, rated R superhero movies at that time was unheard of. Like, I feel like something like that would be a big, homage to that as well, too. Best 1v1?
I'm going to go with the Hoss fight again. Juggernaut and Colossus.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that one. I think that one's great.
Colossus for the second week in a row gets my favorite 1v1.
Maybe you'll get it in the third movie?
Is he in the third movie?
I hope they put the actor from the X-Men, the original trilogy, in the movie. I think that would be so much funnier.
That would be pretty funny. But he doesn't...
Because that guy had nothing in the original trilogy movies.
No. He's barely in it.
He's barely in it. He's American.
He gets ripped apart in Days of Future Past.
He does. He's American.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
He's just a guy.
They should get Anya Taylor-Joy back as Magic. They won't, but they should.
That would be fun. That would be a really fun one.
Freaking... That's like... You want to talk about... We'll do an episode... We'll do an episode one day of like... We've done best comic book movie casting, but we can do an episode where it's like wasted comic book movie casting, and that's like on my short list.
Depending on how this goes, Kit Harington might be up there too for wasted ones. Oh, it depends if we get another season of it, but Oscar Isaac has got to be on there too. Of just absolute, you don't just grab Oscar Isaac and then be like, yep, we're just not going to take care of you after this.
But man, Anya Taylor-Joy is Magic.
Oh my, phenomenal, just perfect.
Man. Bummer.
Best heat check performance? Juggernaut?
Juggernaut's good. Ryan Reynolds' Juggernaut is pretty good. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because, like, everyone that I would have picked, like from the first one, like, they all get a lot... Actually, you know what? He kind of got backslid a little bit to, like, side characters. I'm going to say Colossus.
Okay. Because his role changed a little bit. He joined a new team, and now his role's changed a little bit. 2 or 3 moments. Come again?
Infinitely
the most difficult one we have to do in ones like this. Funniest moment?
Oh, no. Again? Oh, no. I mean, the X-Force being murdered is pretty good.
It's the first part of it, which makes it so much funnier, though. It's like, it's so much hope, and you're like, this is about to be like a fun, like, are they about to do it? And then they just brutally get murdered.
It's pretty good. It's pretty great.
You killed Black Tom Cassidy, you racist!
It's pretty good.
I don't know why that... I could be having the worst day. That could get a laugh out of me each time. I think it is the funniest thing. It's just because then they also keep playing at that Cable's a racist for the rest of the movie.
that could have been best bit. Also,
that's good.
But also we glossed over the cameo, the X-Men.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about it.
The X-Men cameo in this, specifically the First Class X-Men, which was pretty fun.
Well, they were filming Dark Phoenix during this, and they were all on set, and Ryan was probably like, "You guys mind just huddling in this room for 10 seconds?" I don't know how they got Nicholas Hoult to get in the thing or get in the makeup. Yeah. Unless they really grabbed them like in the middle or something, which would have been even funnier, but. They would have never done that in like 2014 to 2016.
No.
They would have been like, absolutely not. That's how bad the X-Men were at that point in the main movies. God. Best exposition dump?
It's Deadpool again. Oh!
Know what
Cable narrating the future is pretty good.
It is pretty good. You know what mine is? It's when Domino's explaining her powers.
That's also pretty good. I think I'm going to go with Cable.
Yeah.
Cable talk about the future.
Because it's like dark brooding Josh.
Yeah.
Talking about it, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I like it. Best source material callback?
The Juggernaut.
It's just him citing the comics.
Yeah.
Doing that.
It's a literal source material callback. Right. How could you not pick that one?
I'm going to go with the fact that, again, I'm picking the same one as my favorite bit. It's just the fact that Cable's not 6'3". He's 5'11". He's shorter than the comics. I know. Best NPC?
Black Tom Cassidy?
Nope.
What do you mean?
Are you the racist? He was so much more than that. He was a kid, and they murdered him.
Who's yours?
I don't even know.
Shatterstar?
No. He's too good for that. Who is the best NPC? Man, that's actually a good one.
One of the prisoners?
Oh, it's the one where he calls him, like, you have some, like, it's the one prison guard that comes out, and he's just like, or not the prison guard, it's the one guard from the school that comes out, and he's kind of explaining everything. He's like, get out of my way with those weirdly seductive lips. Favorite action sequence?
Did we not do that one already?
Well, we did best battle.
Oh, that's right.
We keep at, remember we add all these, so that the best battle came from the Lord of the Rings episode.
That's right. Probably the prison escape.
I'm gonna go with the opening sequence then. Where he's fighting the Yakuza. That was fun stuff.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
And
really
also,
good.
it's good because it immediately shows you, like, oh, we're not here to mess around. Like, obviously this movie's gonna be absolutely hilarious, but we're not here to mess around on, like, an action piece, because this still is an action movie.
Which, again, kind of like I said about the last one, like, you kind of need that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just rely on the humor to get you through this kind of movie.
No, 100%. 100%. Best song? The Celine Dion made an original song for this movie is just all types of hilarious.
Yep. That's it.
He got a Bond opening.
He did get a Bond opening, which I really enjoyed.
Celine Dion should do... Who would you want to do a Bond song? Who would be good? Who have we had? We've had Adele, Sam Smith, Billie Eilish.
Yep. So you need someone kind of... I feel like The Weeknd could do one.
Ooh, that's really good. Not bad, man. That's actually really, really good. I'm impressed. I'm shocked. I'm also going to say that I'm just going to agree with you. That's really good. He's got that voice. He's got, like, that vintage voice to him, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know how we went down this road, but I already have my full pitch for the new Bond. You get Desmond Idris, because he's already British.
John David Washington.
Nope. You get Desmond Idris, because he's the coolest guy on the planet. Have you ever just seen that guy? That's like the coolest human being that there's ever been. That guy's so freaking cool. You get Steve McQueen, because Steve McQueen's also British. You get Bradford Young, who shot Rogue One.
Who's also British? No.
Nope. He's American.
All right, whatever.
You get Ludwig Göransson to do the score.
Who's definitely not British.
Definitely not British. The Weeknd can do the song.
Who's also not British.
Also not British. Not a bad Bond movie.
Sounds good. I'd see it.
Anyway, favorite musical moment? We don't need to do that one. Favorite line?
Man, oh man.
It is jokey, but it's Jesus. He even runs like a pedophile. That killed me.
I'm Black Tom Cassidy, White Wade Wilson. That gets me. That pops me pretty good.
That's not bad. Favorite world building or lore moment?
Actually, wait. It's this line that Deadpool says to Cable. Cable, you get back to your family and you tell them Wade says hi. And promise me one thing. That you'll start judging people not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Dude, Cable being a racist is so funny. It's so freaking funny.
What was it? World building or lore moment?
Yep.
Was yours?
It's probably the retroactive of, like...
It's the setup. It's the setup for Deadpool 3.
But, like, they didn't know. They didn't know what they were doing.
It's the time travel setup for Deadpool 3.
Time travel! Like, they didn't know. They didn't even think that was, like, a thing. And look at them now. Look at my baby boy now. Favorite shot? Is it like the X-Force? Like, they're just all standing there ready to go?
Yeah, probably. I mean, this movie doesn't have a ton of memorable, like, shots in it. I mean, that one's cool. I just like the kind of, like, overall look of the Cable future.
Mm-hmm. So dark?
It's so dark. It's got the weird, like, future...
Not Black Tom Cassidy dark.
It's got the weird, like...
That one might get me. That might be the one.
It's like the weird, like, colorful future. Shut up. I'm not doing this again. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Like the blue, it's got like the blue and orange and like purple, like weird, dark, colorful, like hellscape vibe.
Right. Favorite performance?
Ryan Reynolds again.
Sometimes it's easy. Favorite character?
Cable.
Mine's is Zazie Beetz, or mine's Domino. Because like in any other movie, Domino doesn't work because luck is not a superpower. But in a Deadpool movie, it's the only place it can work.
Yeah.
And favorite moment of this whole movie?
I think weirdly enough, it's the post-credit scene where he reunites with Vanessa.
I'm gonna one-up you and say it is the same spot, but it's him saving Peter is the best part of this movie.
That's pretty good. I can get behind that one.
What a movie!
We gotta do the other 3 awards.
Oh yeah.
The new ones.
So we have let's start with the John David Washington Can He Act Award. Is it Russell?
I was gonna say that. It's a Julian Dennison?
It's tough to do for kid actors, though. I don't love the idea of doing that for children or for kids that act.
Nah, F them kids.
Okay.
He's fair game.
Well, we don't have to answer the question. That's the point of the award. Never have to answer the question. We have the Glenn Powell... What was the Glenn Powell Award?
The Movie Star Award.
Yeah, the Glenn Powell Movie Star Award.
Is it Josh Brolin?
Yeah, because he's just got that presence, man. He's just got that presence. He just shows up and you're in.
Yeah.
And then we have the world famous Denzel Washington He Can Act Award.
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz.
She can act.
She can act. She definitely can act.
I like these awards. I like these 3 that we've added.
Yeah, we got to add it. We're gonna add one for Deadpool 3. How about that?
I also like that we put them after the other awards.
Right. Yep.
Like there's a whole nother level of prestige.
Right. Like these are the awards. Like this is like.
Oh, we didn't rate. We got to art. So we got to rate. We have our rating
system.
system.
Yeah. We have the new rating system.
We didn't do Deadpool 1, so we got to do both of them.
Okay, so Deadpool 1 goes into I think Deadpool 1 goes into like the movies category. Like this is a movie.
Yeah, I think so. Are they both movies?
Yeah, I think both of these are movies.
I would agree. I think I would agree.
Well, we need to workshop. We need to get something in between movies and films. I think that's the new piece. There needs to be something in between there.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be called.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure
Morbius.
It out. Nope.
Whatever it is, Morbius is there.
Yeah, we need something in between movies and films, and then we need something above pictures. Because pictures is like it's like a 9.9 out of 10.
How do you get above pictures? What does that look like?
But it's like us though. Like these are the ones. These are
Citizen Kane?
No. That's a picture. Like we have the ones that supersedes that. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Like
that's rare territory.
Yeah, like Fast X for us would be like whatever this god tier up above portion is.
That movie was a lot of fun.
Maybe to blow up the Vatican? All right.
He can act.
Yeah, he gets the Denzel Washington He Can Act award.
That's fun. That was Deadpool. Deadpool 2. Shout out everyone involved.
Yeah, shout out Ryan Reynolds.
Shout out Josh Brolin for one of the greatest years an actor can have.
Yeah.
Both in terms of like, it's weird because like obviously he made a ton of money, but he also was really good in all of those things, and also was probably really good in that whatever that deer movie was that he did. Maybe we should review that next week.
You see, forget it. Actually, we're not doing Deadpool 3. We made an executive decision.
Do that weird deer movie that he was in.
We'll talk about
that. Kicked off his 2018.
Yeah, right. And Josh Brolin's career was dead before the deer movie, if you ask me.
I don't know about that. Maybe it was. Was that movie good?
Who knows?
It's not even in his like he has separate, he's got, he's a good actor because he like in his career bio in Wikipedia it has like different sections. That's how you know he's acclaimed. But he also has a thing in here that says career decline, 1990 to 2006.
Well, it was before. Well, that's actually correct because it was before No Country for Old Men. Like Josh Brolin wasn't like a we need to get Josh Brolin in our movie type guy before that. And it was like the mid 90s, and then he had that like it was like a lull, and then he hit 2007 comes along, and then he does No Country, and then it's just like, oh, Josh Brolin's back.
Weirdly enough, the Deer movie is not mentioned in his international recognition from 2016 to present phase.
Interesting. We might have to does this movie actually exist?
It exists.
We might need to deep dive into... What is this movie? Is it a documentary?
Hang on, I'm going to find out.
Now I'm intrigued.
2018. All right, The Legacy of a White-Tailed Deer Hunter. It is an American comedy drama directed by Jody Hill, written by the director, Jody Hill, John Carcieri, and Danny McBride.
Okay.
The film stars Josh Brolin, Montana Jordan, and Danny McBride.
Wait, why does this film now sound kind of familiar?
The premise is the great hunter Buck Ferguson, Brolin, and his trusted cameraman Don, Danny McBride, set out for an epic weekend adventure to reconnect with Buck's son, Jaden.
Rotten Tomato score?
30%.
That means it's got to bang, right?
Website's critical consensus reads, Legacy of a White-tailed Deer Hunter wastes a promising presence and a talented cast on a frustratingly uneven comedy that lacks enough laughs to forgive its narrative flaws. It's 83 minutes.
Sheesh.
There you go. That's the movie that kicked off Josh Brolin's 2018.
And it's also going to be the movie that supersedes Pictures. That'll be the first. Oh, that's what we should call it. What's the name of this movie?
The Legacy of a White-tailed Deer Hunter?
The Legacy of the White-tailed Deer Hunter Award. We can only put like 5 movies all time in this category. It's not going to be called that. We lied.
Oh, man. All right. That's it. We're done here.
That's it.
We've done it. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. You can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. We are now on YouTube at the Project Infinite Podcast. You can find us there, youtube.com/Project Infinite Pod. You can follow us on Instagram
At the Project Infinite Pod.
And next week, it's our big Deadpool 3 preview episode. We got a lot of stuff to talk about with this movie. I genuinely haven't been this excited for a Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home, I think.
You must have not seen the Eternals.
I wouldn't say I was excited for the Eternals. I was anticipating the Eternals, but I wasn't necessarily excited for it.
Did you hear that Marvel thought they had like a Oscar like a legitimate movie that the Academy was going to look at with the Eternals? That's what they thought.
Yeah,
I think they stepped in. I think they shackled Chloe Zhao a little bit. But I'll save that for another day.
I would probably agree with that. But yeah, we're going to talk about Deadpool 3 next week. I mean, who knows? Who knows what can happen in this movie? That's the joy of what's going to happen next week. And because we only had one news item this week, there's almost certainly going to be a cavalcade of news next week.
Right.
Because that's what happens when we do these. Something will happen. Someone will get fired. Someone will do something.
Somebody will get cast in something.
Yep. That's bound to happen. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out next week. So from me, from the...
Careful. You gotta be real careful here.
You don't want to be Black Tom Cassidy? Is that what you're telling me? From the...
This is tough.
From the Peter of the podcast.
No. Good?
Yes.
Know, man.
It's great. Who'd you rather be? Bedlam?
No. Why did you say Bedlam?
Shatterstar? The Shatterstar of the podcast?
No, doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. You're a much better actor than Louis Tan.
Come on, man.
I don't know why that was necessary, but it happened. Imagine if Steve Harvey was the Vanisher.
Nope.
Just think about it for a second. It'd just be a mustache.
I can't wait until we talk about House of the Dragon Season 2. So I can talk about what I think the greatest addition to that universe would be. And that would be Steve Harvey as the Hand of the King. And not Steve Harvey playing a character that's the Hand of the King. No, I mean actual Steve Harvey as the Hand of the King.
Specifically, he needs to be Aegon's Hand of the King.
Oh my gosh. What you just said?
Hang all the rat catchers.
You done did what with the rat catchers?
Show me rat catchers. They're already on the wall.
Show me Maylise. Maylise ain't gonna be up there. Oh, no, she's up there.
Oh, man, I can't wait. All right, guys. We're gonna get out of here on that note. Until then, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
And Rob, I just want to tell you, going forward in the future, make sure to judge all these great characters based off the context of the character, not the color of their skin.
Jesus Christ. All right, guys.
All I'm saying is you said collared this week. You said it twice. So if I had a nickel for every time you said collared, I'd have a dime, but why do I have a dime? That's all I'm saying. Black Tom Cassidy followed by collared was a tough look.
We'll survive it.
You're treading on some mighty thin ice here.
We'll get through it. We'll get through it. I'm gonna stage a I'm gonna stage a fight breakup, Jonathan Major style.
Me and my brother were just talking about that last night because it's I can't believe he.
What was he doing?
Somebody said he dances like it's 1930. Like,
come on, man.
Somebody said he dances like they just got back from World War II. Somebody said when Michael Ealy picked up Megan Good, he was gonna pull out a musket and shoot him. No, what did I say? He went home and he put Miles Davis on, but he like put it on the whole Alexa in the whole house, so she had to listen to it. Just like 2 hours of Miles Davis best hits playing for like 2. She's like, "Can we put on like some like the weekend?" No, you listen to Miles Davis for the rest of the night.
Oh my goodness.
He's not a real person. Like that's not a real human being. There's no shot.
No, he can't be. All right, we're getting out of here now. I'm out of here. Goodbye.
Wait, you recorded that whole thing?
I recorded that whole thing.
Oh no, we're just. I thought we were done. I thought we were just conversating.
No.
Jonathan Majors, what a guy.
All right, I gotta stop this now. We're going away. Goodbye.
Peace.
Thank you.